Hello guys, T-Gamer here, and we are playing Napoleon Total War, but the Great War mod for the game, and it's a lovely mod. I've already played as Great Britain and Austria-Hungary and Romania. And I tried a Spanish campaign, but it bored me, to be honest. Anyways, this is actually something new for me. I am recording my voice, at least, post-recording of the actual video footage. So everything that happens already happened, and this series will take place on Monday, but something had occurred. It's kind of sad, but while the software I'm using was processing the video, it took longer than I thought, and I actually fell asleep. So there's that. I decided that I'm gonna start recording it early on Mondays, so that way I can get it on Mondays. But this series will be on Mondays. And as you can see here, the game gives you a choice in the beginning to either enforce loyal factions, which basically just keeps the alliances together in World War One to the matchup. So I chose to keep that. I thought it would be fun to play with it off, and to be honest, I've played a game where it's off and on, and it really doesn't do much, at least that I've noticed. Anyways, so we're the German Empire. You can see one of our biggest armies is in Berlin. The Eastern Front, we have Warsaw, but it's very undeveloped, so I decided we're gonna go and we're prioritizing, I should say I'm prioritizing, building of military based units because I want to start the war as early as possible and gain as much of a lead on my opponents as quick as possible. And so I just spend a couple moments trying to, toy with the game, figure out my next moves. We actually have pretty good income, both from trade and, from taxes and trade. Right here is Moritz von Linker. He's going to be a very good war minister. I kind of want to replace our Minister of Justice. And I'm thinking of Walter Hine, but this game doesn't have a direct hiring thing. Basically, I would have to kick this guy, Hermain Lansko, and then whoever replaces him if they're not Victor. So I attempt to kick him to get the guy I want, and got August Haas, or August Huss. I'm not good at German, so I know I'm gonna probably butcher a lot of names as we go on. So I checked our trade, and it seems that we have terrible trade. If you saw there, it was only 1,344. We make basically all of our money off of taxes, and we have this really long trade line that only goes to the Ottoman Empire in Sweden. Other than that, we really don't have that much trade. We also have a lot of undeveloped buildings, and I'm thinking in, what is it? So we're going to probably study Doctrine Trench Warfare because it gives us a lot of good units and even artillery. And re-implementation of the mortar just gives us mortars, which actually kind of doesn't, at least not with the buildings we have. But I decided I'll do both. That way we get a lot of good units once the technology is done being researched. Warehouses are good, but they really don't do much. I mean, they help with recruitment in an area, and because it's technically in the Bavarian region, it will actually help Munich its recruitment over time as I invest in that. Out in Strasbourg, we really don't have good. It's actually I would say, our third biggest army, and it's mostly conscripts. The plan for the Western Front is to go to Brussels, possibly first, and then down to Champagne. So, yeah, checking out some of our neighbors, and I really want to get Italy on our side. I actually try to request trade and an alliance, and they just don't go for it. But they do accept trade, which is good. And so I decided to stop looking for new allies and just go strictly for trade. We gained trade with Denmark. Essentially the Netherlands and also Switzerland, which secretly in the near future I think we should take Switzerland. Our goal is to not only control all the Germanic peoples, we pretty much own Germany and also Poland, but what I want to do is acquire some territories that historically used to be controlled by what many people call the First Reich, aka the Holy Roman Empire, which the Netherlands and Switzerland and even parts of Italy were a part of. I don't really want parts of Italy. I just want, for the most part, the western part of, the northwest of Western Europe. I'm thinking of also taking Denmark, or just making allies with them, but I decided that we're going to start the war off with the Navy. My plan is to possibly either blockade the Russian harbor way near St. Petersburg, or if no one's there, like if there's no unit on it, my plan is to go inside it, to put my navy inside of the port so I can get rid of Russian trade, at least in the Baltics. And yeah, that's as you can see here. We have 3 generals we can use, but due to our finances, we can't get them. Victor Albrecht. He's definitely someone we're going to want in the near future, and I'm thinking about either putting him on the Eastern Front because of how superior of a general he is, or the Western Front, but he definitely will be needed. as you can see here, we're going to need Moscow, Hungary, England, and Central France to basically win the game. And we're actually the most prestigious nation, so that's good to start off with. And also, you will notice I think our actually lost a star. He was a 4-star earlier, now he's a 3-star leader. And I have not even changed the turn yet, so I don't know what happened there. Let's hope that that changes back. I've started to move some of my militia in the local towns around Cleve. Not towns, but the cities, like my militia in Hanover, Kessel, and Oldenburg. And I'm moving them to Cleves. And I'm also planning on moving the army in Berlin there too. I decided that they will fight on the Western Front. So I started moving my units around. But first I check what we have to build in the near future here in Berlin. Because if you see, we don't really have that many things we can recruit. So we go to the next turn, and, well, in reality, nothing actually happens. Everything's good. We raided a trade line. That's pretty much it. And also, for some reason, early August just has a very dreadful winter, I guess. And some of our troops lost attrition. Well, went through attrition. Western Poland and pretty much all of Russia, besides closer to the Black Sea, it gets really cold in winter, like extremely cold, that your troops will start dying off. With that being said, we're going to have to be careful with fighting the Russians. We can't make Napoleon's mistake, or Hitler's. On the Western Front, plan's going to go as usual. But once we get more money, that's when we're really going to start building up stronger militaries. But for now, we're just going to collect the militaries we start off with and send them to their respective fronts. And once they get there, which will take them about 4 to 5 turns, but once they get there, the war is on. And we must take Belgium over everything else, and then move down to Charmagne. And instead of going straight to Paris, I think we're going to take Normandy and Bretagne, or Brittany, if you will, and just take all of northern France. It's going to be a very strong military effort, but I think we can definitely do it. And so we've moved to the next turn, and our research on basically new mortars have been completed. It was only 2 turns, and I actually forgot to look at the research and choose something better, but the computer automatically went to research German war doctrine, which only took 1 turn, so I was okay with that in the long run. We're building up, or at least trying to build up, our cities on both sides. We now have enough to build an army in Berlin, but I decided not to immediately. Probably will bite me in the butt later, but for now, we're focusing on figuring out what we can build and what we can't, putting most of our focus on the military efforts in the West. I continue my little campaign to forge a huge army in Cleves, so we can hopefully overrun Brussels. And I decided to take Antwerp. I think that's Antwerp. I actually forgot. But the Belgians' trade port under our control, which you'll see in the next turn. Well, that probably was a bad idea in the long run, in the short run. One issue about this mod, if you saw there, is that for most of the units, majority of the units, when you look at their information, it does not show their I guess their units profile pic like it does on Empire or Napoleon Total War, vanilla Napoleon Total War. We've gotten a lot of things built, including in Strasbourg and Munich, and so now we can make regular rifle infantry in those 2 places, and we actually can now build artillery in Strasbourg, which is good. We move to the next turn again, and Brussels sends some soldiers to kick us out, and Britain simultaneously attacks us. The balance is out of our favor, and, well, they have a powerful general. I mean, not general, admiral. I don't have confidence in this fight, so I order my men to retreat. Luckily for us, they don't go after us, which is kinda odd, because they have the movements. Russia then attacks us, and, well, I believe we can take them, because essentially they only have 1 ship that can beast us. The other 2 are just transport ships, which do not have any artillery whatsoever, not a single cannon. So they're going to be useless. Vasily Kanan versus Gisbert Foss. So hopefully Foss can do it, and, well, I really stretched that hope out a little too much. Later on in the battle, you'll see that we made a grave mistake by trying to get up close and personal to the Russians' leading ship. As the battle starts to begin, instead of destroying that transport ship, we're gonna go after their capital ship. He opens fire on me a couple times, and right as I line up, yep, that happens. I really don't like that this mod doesn't have actual World War One ship models, so it's like we're back in the Napoleonic era. And we lost a very official first battle, at least between Germany and the Entente powers, also known as the Allied powers later on. So there's that major failure. And well, Voss is now killed. We're just gonna have to deal with that. The Russians best us. I don't know why I keep saying beast us. Best us at sea so far. And we can't even use the excuse that we were outnumbered. It was just one shot and done. We continue to ready ourselves on the Western Front, start building some things to increase our economics in the long run. And I decided to recruit a general, but in order to do that, I actually had to stop the building of a building, the construction of a building, and we're going to go instead with one of the lesser generals for the Eastern Front. They both are promising, but I decided the general I want to lead my men is Maximilian von Laffert. And so they both can command. Oh wait, no I didn't. Huh. Originally I was gonna go for Maximilian. I guess I made a mistake there. But it doesn't matter. They both actually gain a star of command for leading infantry troops. So even though originally they're 3-star, they're now both they would both become 4 stars immediately after becoming generals, which might be a little bit nice for him. As we come to a conclusion, we'll see next time what will happen on the Western Front and see if Germany can bounce back after losing.